Up on Fulton Today, counting the county's homeless population to better assess their needs. And we'll introduce you to a group who have been given a second chance to stay out of the criminal justice system. And voters head to the polls this week to vote early in the presidential primary. Fulton Today starts right now. Welcome to Fulton Today, everyone. I'm Shania Chavis-Rucker. Early voting is now underway in the 2016 presidential primary and the City of Atlanta special election. Rick Barron is Fulton County's Director of Registration and Elections. Sir, welcome back to Fulton Today.
Hi, Shania. Thanks for having me.
So first things first, Rick, I understand your office has increased the number of polling locations.
We have 24 polling locations. We have placed 4 polling locations in each of the 6 commissioner precincts. We have them open for the first 2 weeks from 8:30 to 6, and then on Saturdays from 8 to 5, and on Sundays 12 to 5. In the third week, we are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And in addition, I want to note that both Saturdays and both Sundays during the early voting period, we are open from 8 to 5 on Saturdays and 12 to 5 on Sundays.
And once again, there are opportunities for voters to cast their ballot on the weekend.
The state requires that we are open on one Saturday from 9 to 4, but we feel that it's important to give voters as much opportunity to vote during early voting as possible. So we are open on both Saturdays from 8 to 5 and on both Sundays from 12 to 5. When we've been open on Sundays in the past, we've exceeded the turnout for Saturdays. So it's just a good idea to have as many opportunities for voters as possible and to make it convenient for voters to get out there and exercise their right to vote.
And Rick, what do you want voters to know if they plan on voting early during this period?
When voters vote early, they can go to any of the 24 locations, as opposed to Election Day when you have to vote in your polling location. We'll have 24 locations. There are many hours, 4,392 to be exact, for voters to vote early. That's 19 days at 24 sites where voters can exercise their right to vote ahead of Election Day. Voting early takes the pressure off of Election Day. It'll reduce the lines on Election Day, and it'll give voters the choice of when and where to vote.
And let's have your final thoughts, including what the Election Day is for those who want to vote on the actual day.
We are encouraging people to vote early. What I'd like to see is that everyone get out there and vote early, so we reduce the number of people that vote on Election Day, and that will help out with in terms of provisional ballots, and because we can fix issues easier during early voting than we can on Election Day. For those people that are going to vote on Election Day, please remember to bring your picture ID. It can be tribal ID, driver's license, passport, government ID, military ID, and also please remember, if you vote on Election Day, you have to vote in your precinct as opposed to early voting. In early voting, you can vote at any of the 24 locations, but on Election Day, you must go to your assigned precinct.
All right, Rick Barron, Fulton County's Director of Registration and Elections. Always great to see you. I'm sure we'll be talking to you through the process. Thanks again.
Thank you, Shania.
If you need additional information on the voting process, just visit the Department of Registration and Elections website. Seniors from across the county and the state rally for their rights. Armed with a lot of support and signs, more than 100 people protested proposed budget cuts to services that help the elderly.
Just want to make sure that services that our seniors rely on are properly funded. We also have other initiatives that we're working on, like the Family Care Act, which would allow people to use their earned sick leave for caregiving purposes. And we have the Uniform Adult Guardianship and Protective Proceedings Jurisdiction Act, which would allow for easy transfer of adult guardianship across state lines.
Senior daycare services across the state face more than $1 million in reductions, which is a big loss for the state and the county's older population.
We need the funding to help caregivers continue to care for their loved ones, because the other option is they go into a nursing home and it costs us on average 10 times more.
The cuts could also affect other services for grandparents who have custody of their grandchildren and programs that care for seniors who are unable to care for themselves. Volunteers spread out all across the county to count the homeless population. Now, it was a part of an overall effort to determine their needs for services. FGTV's Priscilla Ortega has our story.
While most people think Fulton's homeless problem only affects downtown Atlanta, this is a county-wide problem. Now, the annual homeless count helps provide a more accurate look at how much federal and county funding is needed to help those most in need. Members of the county's Emergency and Transitional Housing Department, the North Fulton Community Charities, and volunteers met in North Fulton to finalize their plans for the night.
Are you with somebody?
The volunteers were broken down into teams of 4 and were given blankets, personal hygiene kits, socks, caps, and gloves for the homeless.
How long have you been out here?
About 3 years.
3 years?
The count is part of a HUD requirement to determine future funding allocations for housing and services for the homeless.
The point-in-time count is a really important way for us to determine, how best to spend funds and where they're most needed.
For years, the homeless was made up primarily of men. But despite living in one of the richest countries, the homeless population is growing and changing.
Not just single adults and adults without children, but also families, women with minor children, couples with children who have fallen on hard times and lost housing.
What I anticipate we'll see tonight is folks that are living unsheltered in the woods.
Leonard Westmoreland with the Fulton County Department of Housing and Community Development talks about the importance of not just counting the homeless, but helping them.
We do all that to get them to come and kind of talk with us so that we can ask questions of them. Things that we can learn in general so we'll know where they are, the services that they need, and then we can come back and plan for how we can get those persons housed, those families housed.
Once all that data is compiled, the county will then determine what services are needed the most. Reporting in downtown Atlanta, I'm Priscilla Ortega for FGTV.
Men and women who once battled addiction make a giant step towards sobriety. They are the recent graduates of Superior Court's Adult Drug Treatment Program. FGTV's Felicia Church has their story.
After months of intensive treatment, monitoring, and supervision, these graduates have turned their lives around. These are Fulton County residents who once found themselves on the wrong side of the law. But thanks to Superior Court's drug court, they've received another chance.
If you graduate from drug court, at a minimum, you've been clean and sober for 180 days. Today, we had several graduates for whom the numbers were in the 600s.
Family members and friends packed Assembly Hall to support their loved ones, 2 of them veterans.
Mr. English stands today with 673 days.
The court holds 4 graduations a year. It's a part of its accountability court program, designed to give defendants a chance to get clean with support as long as they stay in the program. And for many of the graduates, it's the beginning of a new life.
Changed my life.
In what way?
Getting a job, having a family now, it's made me a better person.
An assessment that Superior Court Judge Robert McBurney agrees with.
It's a happy moment, but it's also, as some said, the first day of the rest of their life. So it's a continuation of a struggle.
With the use of heroin reaching epidemic levels, drug court can now treat those users as well.
And so we put together a medically assisted treatment program that allows us to treat people who not just have heroin addiction, but also have any kind of addiction that's being treated or managed with a medical physician.
At first, I was rebelling against the program, but after being in the program about 6 to 8 months, it turned out to be a pretty good program. Continue taking it one day at a time and working hard.
And for these graduates, the court and the program have literally saved their lives. Reporting for FGTV, I'm Felicia Church.
And still to come, Fulton commissioners talk unity and partnership with the Buckhead Coalition. It's a part of our district by district coverage next. Fulton thanks the Buckhead Coalition for its contribution to the county and joins the EPA to help save our water supply. Here's this week's district by district coverage. We begin with Chairman John Eves as he brings greetings to the Buckhead Coalition's annual meeting. The at-large commissioner, along with Vice Chair Liz Hausman and Commissioners Lee Morris and Emma Darnell, all show support to the coalition for its contribution to the county's growth. The nonprofit is an organization of business executives on the north side of Atlanta.
They are wonderful participants, wonderful stakeholders in our community, strong commercial, strong real estate, very diverse community, and they really are the epicenter of activity in Fulton County as well as the city of Atlanta.
The chairman and Atlanta's Mayor Kasim Reed thanked the coalition and its founder, former Atlanta Mayor Sam Massell, for his leadership and service to the organization and to the city.
It is such an integral part economically with the ongoing business, economic development, growth, population-wise and otherwise, in this area that everybody has a hand in its progress and prosperity.
A number of other elected officials also joined the luncheon, including Fulton Sheriff, state legislators, and school board members. This was the Buckhead Coalition's 27th annual meeting. In District 2, the Chattahoochee Nature Center prepares to host a fun event to highlight a serious issue. The center will be the starting point for the 4th annual Water Drop Dash 5K and Fun Run. The event encourages residents to check their plumbing fixtures and irrigation systems as a part of the annual Water Sense Fix a Leak Week.
The average American home can waste over 10,000 gallons a year. That can be running toilets, it can be leaks inside the home, or faucets. If you fix your leaks, you can save up to 10,000 gallons, and that's enough to fill 2 6-person hot tubs.
Here are the details for the event. The 5K Fun Run will be held March 19th, but the Fix a Leak Week will be from March 14th through the 20th. Register for the race at waterdropdash.com and get information on the Awareness Week at the county's website. And finally, in District 6, South Fulton residents get a chance to voice their opinions about the comprehensive plan. During the January zoning meeting at the South Fulton Service Center, citizens were afforded the opportunity to make comments about the plan. County staff then gave residents a full look at the plan during their presentation at the Wolf Creek Library and the Aviation Community Cultural Center.
The comprehensive plan is a document that's strictly for the residents and property owners. We're writing this plan for them. This is the plan that the staff here in unincorporated Fulton County are asking residents and property owners to come out to assist us with writing that document. This is a plan that will gear their quality of life for the next 20 years, so we're asking them to come out to assist us with that development.
We want to encourage all of our citizens to continue the wonderful participation which you have given us as we put together this update to the comprehensive plan. You must decide where we should organize our space and how we should organize our space.
To get all of the details about the South Fulton Comprehensive Plan, visit the county's website or call 404-612-9012. Now you can catch more of your commissioners at work all this week with the rebroadcast of the Board of Commissioners meeting right here on FGTV. And when we come back, we'll tell you about a leadership change at the county's health department. Stay with us. Fulton's Health and Wellness Department will soon be under new leadership. FGTV's Lynn Vaughn tells us more now about the county's new top doctor.
And Shania, the anticipation is high. A doctor with previous leadership roles at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the state of Georgia will soon head the Fulton County Health Department. Dr. Kathleen Toomey will join Fulton in mid-March as the new Health Services Director. The Harvard graduate most recently served as the CDC's director in Botswana. Before then, she served as the director of the Division of Public Health with the state of Georgia. Dr. Toomey is also a board-certified family practitioner. Now, Dr. David Sarno, who has served as interim health director since last fall, will now focus on operational aspects of the department that includes clinical services and environmental health services like restaurant and pool inspections. Of course, once Dr. Toomey joins the county, FGTV will sit down with her to discuss her goals as she takes on her new role. Reporting from the News Center, I'm Lynn Vaughn, FGTV.
Thank you very much, Lynn, and we look forward to welcoming the new doctor. Meanwhile, the Coalition to Prevent Commercial Sexual Exploitation is laying out its future goals. During the latest coalition meeting at the Cristo Rey Atlanta Jesuit High School, the group laid out some of their goals and discussed some proposed activities.
The next step is also we're planning a summit, again to invite the stakeholders that we've not identified, to invite the non-traditional partners who might not have been identified at this time to come together and help us achieve the goals that we are finalizing today.
The coalition is made up of health and community officials who are working to end human trafficking and gather awareness. The coalition wants to decrease the number of victims of sexual exploitation through education and social media campaigns. Coalition members also hope to connect victims with routine HIV testing and services. The group meets regularly. This was their second meeting of the year. College students joined seniors to learn how to cook healthy meals. The group packed the Helene Mills Senior Multipurpose Facility to watch a special cooking demonstration. It was a part of an internship program for Georgia State University's dietetic students. A health nutritionist from the Office of Aging grilled chicken and cooked vegetables in an informative and fun way.
We've done some cooking demonstrations in the past. That's part of our experiences in undergraduate in dietetics, but he really showed how to engage an audience and how to not be so tight-laced about it.
We have worked with them over the years to share with them how to do nutrition education in a community setting through a cooking demonstration, how to prepare certain foods in certain ways that are healthy, but are also things that people like to eat.
The American Heart Association recommends cooking with less sodium, and you can do that by replacing salt with herbs, spices, or lemon juices. You can use canned vegetables with low sodium or from the frozen food section. And still to come, a sneak peek at the latest Kenny Leon production. Stay with us. Fulton's art team is asking volunteers to help them decide who will get arts funding. This year, the county set aside $1.5 million to help fund arts programs. Now, those who want to help decide which groups will get those funds can apply to be a volunteer peer review panelist. People who have an interest in arts, like dance or visual arts, are encouraged to apply.
We work with arts administrators, people who run arts organizations like Dad's Garage, Bell Ethnic Dance Company. We also look for volunteers who are board members or volunteers who are citizens just interested in the arts.
Approved volunteers will serve on one of several panel groups starting in April. The deadline to submit the applications is February 29th. You can call 404-612-5780 for more information or go to fultonarts.org. And finally, Kenny Leon's theater company has a brand new play on his home stage. This is video of a rehearsal of American Buffalo. The award-winning drama is set in a junk shop. That's where three criminals plot to rob a man of his coin collection, including what is believed to be a valuable buffalo nickel. And that's when the drama starts.
The guys in this play lead rough lives, so they sometimes use rough language. So people should know when they come that this is definitely an R-rated play. But I'll also guarantee that they'll laugh and they might even cry as the story unfolds.
The show opens February 12th and runs through March at the Southwest Arts Center. The drama-filled play is geared toward an adult audience. For more information, you can go to truecolorstheater.org. And before we go, our reminder that we'd like to connect with you online. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and of course, anytime on our YouTube channel. Well, that does it for this edition of Fulton Today. I'm Shania Chavis-Rucker. Thank you for watching. Join us each week for news around and about Fulton County.